Last year, thanks to the recurring effects of Volkswagen's idiotic decisions around Dieselgate and the enormous recall costs to Volkswagen, well, Volkswagen led the world in warranty, recalls, all that. Cost per car were astronomical. They lost many billions of dollars. Second place was Ford. In 2022, no longer the case. Ford has taken the cake. Jim Farley has reiterated on a number of times he is very concerned. This is a big problem for the company and it is bleeding money. The facts are the facts, my friends. Ford are unquestionably bleeding money and it is a problem. Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back everyone else. And as you know, Ford's EVs, they are actually pretty decent. People want them. Ford just said, why would you buy gasoline-powered pickups, gasoline-powered cars when you can save this much money? They actually explained how much you can make, how much money you can save per car if you buy its EVs versus its gasoline vehicles. And of course, there's the resale effects. No one wants a gasoline car in 5 years' time. I can almost guarantee you there's not going to be many. Not no one, but not going to be many. Therefore, the resale value of the millions of gasoline-powered cars getting around in the US is going to plummet. Meaning that, you know what? Ford needs to make as many EVs as possible this year. And fortunately, it plans to do so. Can it make as many as it claimed or as it wanted to? Probably not. Can it do a good job ramping up production? Absolutely. Does it have major problems though with recalls and quality? 100%, even with its EVs, unfortunately. Jim Farley has sort of claimed that since he's been CEO, the company now has instituted new policies for better quality in order to massively reduce warranties and recall costs. Hasn't happened, unfortunately. And it's going to be something that will hang over the company like a bad, stinky, rotten, terrible egg smell that you just can't get rid of. Like, you know, in high school, I don't know if you guys had this, but someone will put a stink bomb in the bin or something or in the corridor and it just reeks. This is the kind of smell that is going on at Ford right now. And honestly, it's a really apt analogy when you consider the fact they're first in the world, or will be almost certainly, in terms of cost per car on recalls and warranties in 2022. It's not good. Personally, I love Ford. I don't know why. I've always had a thing for Ford. I always preferred Ford and versus General Motors. For some reason, it was this GM versus Ford thing for me. And my brother and I, we were always on the side of Ford. For some reason, we love Mustangs. We love, I don't know, pickup trucks. We love all that stuff. And we still do. You know, it's strange. It doesn't go away. I do feel sorry for Ford. But honestly, they've created all of these problems themselves. I mean, for example, all the money they've just had to pay out, being ordered by a judge to pay out many, many millions of dollars. I made a video about that. You need to see that video. It's crazy what has happened with pickup trucks. I mean, the fact that they can't roll over without killing people is insane. I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about that and the judge's order that Ford has to pay out. Well, the figure is astronomical. If you haven't seen it, you need to see that video to see what I'm talking about. This is all part of the problem. Ford actually knew about these problems, didn't even change the structure of the cars to make them actually be able to roll over without crushing people. And the problem is, must they make E? You would think, right, new vehicle, new model, new future for Ford, quality will be way better. It's not. Consumer Reports just downgraded the quality. It says it's actually worse than they expected. That is disappointing. I like the Mustang Mach-E. It's coming to Australia soon. I'd still consider buying one, to be honest. Although, honestly, realistically, let's be fair, would you get that or a Model Y? The Model Y is a more practical vehicle. It's, you know, it's significantly lighter, better efficiency, better software. Doesn't have as many quality problems because we're getting, of course, the Model Ys from China as well. They're even better than Model Ys elsewhere. Yeah, that's got to be the choice for me versus the Mustang Mach-E. But the Mach-E is still a good choice. If you love Ford, you want a Mach-E, I totally get where you're coming from. But what's happened with Ford in 2022 is this. They have lost probably billions of dollars. Not probably, definitely billions of dollars. Ford reported the most US vehicle recalls for the second year in a row. Data now shows. Through the 19th of December, Ford had issued 65 recalls affecting more than 8.6 million vehicles in the United States alone in 2022. Ford says it's been working to improve its quality and it doesn't know what to do. They didn't say that. They kind of have said that. They've employed these people to come in and just fix their quality. I wouldn't be giving them a raise, put it that way. Washington. For the second consecutive year, Ford Motor Company has reported the most US vehicle recalls of any automaker, partial NHTSA data has just revealed. Through December the 19th, Ford had issued 65 recalls, like I said, costing them an astronomical amount of money. We're talking about 8.6 million vehicles in the US alone. That is insane. That is a cost that will cost them billions. There's no question. The US recall data comes as Ford continues to work on improving manufacturing operations and combating quality issues, particularly on its high-profile vehicles. Now, the thing is, if you improve quality issues in cars now, I'm sure they're doing that, that's good for the future. Not really going to help now all that much if you think about it, right? Most of these recalls are for previous years. It's like a stinky, smelly thing, legacy stink from back in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. You get my point, right? All those stinky years, and don't get me wrong, some of those Ford cars are probably fine. They still stink a little bit with the warranties and recalls that Ford are having to make, which is costing them billions of dollars. That's pretty stinky, if you ask me. In November, Ford recalled nearly 634,000 Bronco Sport and Escape crossovers. That's a new model. That's recalls on a new model. They can't recall things like Tesla do an over-the-air software update, which is 97% of Tesla's recalls are over-the-air software updates. They've got to come back to the dealership. Ford has to pay the dealership to fix the car. Plus, they've got to pay for whatever parts it is. That's a lot of money just for those cars alone, which are new vehicles. Now, why do they recall them? For fire risks. Months before the automaker had issued a stop sale to dealers as part of its recall of nearly 50,000 Mustang Mach-E crossovers for potential power loss. Federal investigators also launched an investigation last year into catastrophic engine failures in the 2021 Bronco SUV. How does a brand new car have catastrophic engine failures within 12 months of its delivery? That, to me, is an enormous quality issue. This is what Ford had to say. While we don't ever want customers inconvenienced by problems with our products, when it's necessary, we're going to use recalls to call attention to them, Ford spokesperson Maria Barkowski told Automotive News. That's an interesting way to put it. It's kind of funny. She added that, as Ford CEO Jim Farley has said, we're improving our launch and initial quality, but our overall quality isn't as good as it should and can be. That's an understatement. That's why we're deploying a comprehensive end-to-end process to raise quality and keep it high in design, production, delivery, and after-sales service and support. Now, I want to point out right now, from the most recent numbers we have from about 6 months ago, previous trailing 12 months, Ford is spending on average twice as much money as General Motors per car on warranty and recalls. Twice as much. That's a big difference. Ford's overarching goal is to prevent quality issues from happening in the first place, Barkowski said. But when that doesn't happen, we're using technology to detect and resolve them before they become a bigger deal for more customers. The recall numbers could mean Ford is taking a more conservative approach to addressing potential defects, said Ray Roth, who leads the automotive recall practice and investment bank and advisory firm Stout. NHTSA can't look at every single defect and initiate the recalls, he said. To a large extent, it's self-reporting. Okay, self-reporting before you just get made to recall them by the NHTSA. It doesn't make any difference, mate. That's a weird way to analyze it. Maybe Ford paid him to say it. I don't know. Roth also said recall totals would need to factor in production volume to make comparisons among automakers. But we've seen comparisons from 2021. We know what they are. Ford was leading. They would have won the race if it wasn't for the stinky Volkswagen Dieselgate recall. Literally stinky. They're diesel cars. They stink and they kill you with cancer. But anyway, the point is Volkswagen lied. They're paying the price for that, but they've paid most of the price for that in previous years, in 2021, 2020. A little bit will be in 2022. We know there's some costs there. A couple of billion for Volkswagen. add a couple of billion more debt to their 180 billion total, second most indebted company in the world. Yeah, that's going to be great for them. But anyway, the point is here that actually, if you think about it, even though Ford have lost billions and will continue to lose billions in warranties and recalls, this isn't going to stop anytime soon, even though Jim Farley wants it to, would love it to. It's not going to happen. We're talking about this titanic behemoth. It's seen an iceberg. It's hit the iceberg. It's too slow to turn. It's just going to keep on crunching along the iceberg going, I mean, that's what we're looking at. But even then, Ford's debt is nothing in comparison to the debt of Volkswagen. Most of Volkswagen's debt isn't financial. I mean, some of it is. Toyota's debt is astronomical when you consider that almost none of it's financial debt. But Volkswagen's debt profile right now is way worse than Ford's. So if you look at the overall health of the company, I still would be much more inclined to buy Ford stock than Volkswagen stock. I know people think, oh, it's Volkswagen, it's European, it's foreign, it must be great. That's not really true. They've got a ton of debt, and that's not ending anytime soon. Now, Ford. More new models also mean more problems, say analysts, when they first enter the market, said Chris Sutton, Vice President of Automotive Retail at JD Power. If you have a lot of new models out in the market, it's more likely you're going to see quality issues surface in the first year, and then those will smooth out over the subsequent years. Now, yet another reason why it's a bad idea to have 100 different models like what Volkswagen plans on. Ford, I think, should actually minimize the number of models they have, and they have actually done that over the past few years. They've started to decrease the number of models. That's a smart strategy. Volkswagen is saying they're going to do the opposite when I'm talking about the Volkswagen Group here, which I've criticized on this channel many times. They're even now coming up with this ridiculous idea that they're going to change the power of all their cars, have all the same motors and stuff, or different motors to have all different power levels and different generations of specifications because they need to have, different price points. It's just a convoluted nightmare when you consider the so-called supply chain chaos Volkswagen says it has. That's their quote, not mine. Volkswagen says we have supply chaos. We're in a chaotic position now. That was like 2 weeks ago they said that. So yeah, you can see why I don't agree with that strategy. Ford will have an advantage in that sense of less models. Bread and butter for Ford, F150, F150, F150. That's where most of their profits come from. They know it. They're going to focus on those, I think. The impact of recalls on a customer's likelihood to return for service or to purchase a vehicle from the brand is pretty minor, he claims. Is that actually true? Well, Ford is saying they've got a lot of conquest buyers buying their EVs. But who do you think's buying Tesla EVs? Well, Tesla's getting a lot of conquest from who? Guess what? It's actually coming predominantly from Honda and Toyota buyers, not so much from Ford. That's in the US, by the way. More customer service work, depending on the type of work that was. 35% of your customers said they'll definitely come back and repurchase that brand, said Sutton, citing a 2022 JD Power Customer Service Index study. If a customer comes in on a recall, that goes down to 32% of the customers who said they definitely will repurchase the brand. In other words, if you have recalls, it does decrease the number of people buying your cars. That's going to be a problem. Ford have got to get on top of this. Otherwise, other brands will simply have more conquest sales once they make compelling EVs. That's just what's going to happen. As vehicles are equipped with more high-tech features, the number of callbacks related to electrical systems and rear-view camera defects also appear to be rising, recall experts have said. That's why you need a smart powertrain. You need a smart system, right, where you can do over-the-air updates, which will change things massively on the car without bringing them back into the dealer. Not these ridiculous Volkswagen so-called pretend over-the-air updates, which require you taking the car to the dealer anyway. I don't think they understand the meaning of over-the-air update over at Volkswagen, claiming their cars are over-the-air update capable, but you have to take them to the dealer to do an over-the-air update. What a joke. Anyhow, anytime you add a new tech, said analysts, it does come with new risks that OEMs have to be aware of, said Chris Harvey, Senior Vice President of Client Services at Sedgwick. I think we'll continue to see some of those issues when the technology in the auto industry increases, just like we've seen with other industries. Sorry about the birds. Michael Brooks, Executive Director of the Center for Auto Safety, said he tracked 34 recalls related to rear-view cameras that are used to prevent back-over accidents through mid-December. There were 19 the year before, 16 in 2020, 13 in 2019. In 2018, they were just mandated. Brooks also expressed concern about the longevity of electrical components as vehicles age. we're still not sure that the manufacturers have found a great way to make sure that some of these bells and whistles they're putting on cars are going to be able to last for the average lifespan of the vehicle, he said. So we're a little worried that into the future, 10 years from now, maybe less, that some of these components are going to start to fail early. Yeah, that's possible. They could. Ford's warranty problems are not going to end anytime soon. It's costing them billions. And frankly, there's not a lot that Jim Farley can do about it regardless. Personally, I hope they can fix it. I've been talking about this on the channel for a while because it is a problem when you consider Ford's potential future sales. I mean, this will affect their sales. It affects their bottom line. It affects the reputation of the company. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.